Arsenal bring the meanest defence in the Premier League to challenge Southampton's revival. Just 17 goals conceded, but today in Matthew Le Tissier facing a player who's currently scoring 6 out of 6. 6 goals in 6 games since Alan Ball's return as manager, plus an England cap for the gifted number 7. Now with new responsibilities in a role just behind the front two. Well, Southampton are unchanged for the 5th consecutive match. You can expect the 2 fullbacks to push on into midfield, leaving 3 defenders, with number 11 Francis Benali probably given the job of picking up Ian Wright. After the Cup Winners' Cup triumph on Tuesday, Arsenal prove the value of having a large squad. They make 6 changes. Out go Bold, Davis, Jensen, Smith and Merson. Hillier is still injured. He's again replaced by Selly in midfield. And in come Linnigan and Keown into defence, Ray Parler and Anders Limpar into midfield, and Kevin Campbell up front. Referee David Frampton hasn't had far to come from Poole in Dorset on a really wonderfully warm South Coast afternoon. Southampton attacking the goal to the left and just to tempt fate. Only once in the last 25 league meetings between these sides has the game failed to produce a goal. Most of the last half a dozen have had absolute bagfuls, which has probably been the kiss of death. However, Arsenal have won 5 of the last 6, and here comes Campbell. Support from Dixon. Limpar and Campbell and Keown, and this is Selly, and it's Southampton who've claimed possession. Interestingly, Southampton's home form is almost as good as that of Aston Villa, who are up in 5th place in the Premier Division, while Southampton are down in 18th and facing a struggle to avoid relegation. But things looking good so far since Alan Ball's arrival. Alan Ball told by his directors this week that he has got money available to buy a wide player. A few more smiles on the faces of Southampton supporters these days, with their team beginning to show signs of a turn of form that will lift them away from the threat of relegation. Dixon knocks it forward, intended for Campbell, and Benali who intercepted. Got a good turn of heel on him, Francis Benali, and one of the few local boys in this Southampton side. Dixon will take the throw. Benali's header. Dixon. Campbell! Oh, Moncau stuck with him well and just forced him away from goal. He did very well, Moncau, because that looked like a good opportunity for Campbell. And now Southampton breaking out through Dowie, who is strong enough to hold off the challenge of Adams, but they haven't got enough players forward yet. Kenner down the line. Maddison will chase, but it's out of play. Well, Ken Moncau has been capped by the Dutch at under 21 and does harbour ambitions to get into the World Cup squad, and that was a good bit of defending. Maybe Campbell could have been quicker to have got the shot in, but Moncau just held him off and shepherded him away from the goal. Well, that's a poor ball by Arsenal. Quickly picked up by Charlton. Maddison. Well, it wasn't a bad effort. Seaman didn't look troubled. He was confident that it would always be too high. But there are those in the ground who saw it from a different angle. Took it onto his left side, Neil Maddison. Just 8 weeks into the job, and it's been a very good start for Alan Ball. He's taken 11 points from 18 in 6 Premier games. Well, Martin Keown has clearly been given the job this afternoon of tight marking Matthew Le Tissier, which is why in the first quarter of this match we've seen so little of the Southampton player. Oh, Dixon, poor control. He's having to scramble to salvage the situation. Did well to get it up to Limpar, and now Campbell to run outside Wood. Parler's inside him. Ian Wright's arriving at the back post. Selly knows where Wright is, and that's where it wanted to go first time. Ian Wright was patient. He waited on the edge of the penalty area. Campbell didn't see him or couldn't get it to him anyway, but when it came back out, Ian Selly had spotted exactly where Ian Wright was. Delivered over the top, and Ian Wright, a terrific diving header. Maybe Dave Besant will think he showed him too much of that near post. But with 17 and a half minutes gone, Arsenal have taken the lead, and Ian Wright chalks up his 29th goal of the season. Well done, Ian Selly. England Youth International, just 19 years of age. Came on in the game against Torino when Hillier was injured, and he delivered that one perfectly. Here's Kenner. Maskell and Kenner, good ball forward, intended for Magilton. Steve Wood. Space here for Maskell, inside to Magilton. They can't quite work the opening that they're looking for. Maybe now. Maybe now, definitely. Oh, wonderful save by Seaman. Southampton have been so patient to work that opening, and Jeff Kenner popping up in the penalty area with a thumping shot which allowed David Seaman to show just what a good goalkeeper he is. Adams was the defender, but it might have come off Moncau. Yes, in fact it was Linnigan who jumped with Moncau, but it did come off the Southampton player, and it's a goal kick. Jeff Kenner has scored twice this season. A former Southampton trainee, popping up in an unaccustomed position in Arsenal's penalty area. Hit it very well, and it's an even better save seen from that angle. Arsenal feel there was a little push in the back of Parler, but play allowed to continue. Letitia, first time he's really had any possession. Magilton can keep the attack going. Here's Maskell. Letitia. Just too many defenders, but they were nervous and they weren't sure, so Winterburn put it out for a corner. He does make the hearts flutter in defences. Adams sticking close to Dowie. And Moncau, who got the equaliser against Sheffield Wednesday last week. Headed down was by Wood. Oh, again a great save by Seaman. Point blank from Maddison. That one looked as if it had to go in. Southampton to try again. Moncau. And finally away by Dixon. Benali. Nicely out to Steve Wood. That's knocked in long. This could come back. Dowie came off a defender. Another corner. Well, Southampton are keeping the pressure on, but they've had two excellent chances to score. They just haven't beaten David Seaman. Steve Wood, who was up from the back for the corner, won the header. He directed it into the 6-yard box. It bounced up, and Neil Maddison, trying to steer his header wide of Seaman, saw it saved. Here comes another corner. And again, Seaman's handling was exemplary. Well, Maddison, the second Southampton player, who must have thought that he'd scored after Jeff Kenner's effort earlier. Good flick on by Campbell. Limpar finds Ian Wright. Oh, wonderful, wonderful goal. A goal of absolute quality, and it's Ian Wright, his second of the match. And the link-up between the attacking players then was really terrific. Limpar, who finally lifted it over the top of Moncau, And Ian Wright, having scored earlier with a diving header, this time a thumping right foot shot. Campbell had the original flick on, and that one's absolutely buried. Half an hour gone, Arsenal lead 2-0. And he knows that they've got some tricky fixtures coming up after this one. Sheffield United, Oldham, Chelsea and Manchester City, the next 4 fixtures. Southampton in need of points. It's a first half in which Arsenal have really looked hardly troubled. 2 goals from Ian Wright to give them the lead at half-time. But how important too were the saves of David Seaman. Arsenal have got smiles on their faces. They look relaxed as they go in at half-time, and who can blame them? Southampton 0, Arsenal 2. Southampton lost at Highbury earlier this season by 1-0, and facing the prospect here this afternoon of Arsenal inflicting the double against them. Southampton 18th in the Premier League on 32 points. They do have 1 game at least in hand over most of the teams below them. But with those 4 tricky fixtures coming up after this afternoon, they won't want to emerge from this match without any points, but they'll have to do more in the second half. These Arsenal players have to take every opportunity they get to play in the first team. Ray Parlour, who won his 8th England under-21 cap against Denmark recently, glad of an opportunity this afternoon. Linnigan, Dowie a willing runner. Oh, Seaman's given it straight to Maskell, and he pulls off another remarkable save and makes up for his own error. Linnigan and David Seaman exchanging a few words. There was nothing angry about it, just a shrug of the shoulders. Kenner knocks it in, Dowie knocks it back, and that'll be a corner. But David Seaman, having made the initial mistake when he inexplicably kicked it straight to Craig Maskell on the edge of the penalty area, who cut inside Winterburn, but again he couldn't beat the keeper. That was Wood who won that, and Seaman has collected it right underneath his crossbar. Oh, Maskell had it on the right foot. He did hit it quite close to David Seaman, which made it that little bit easier. Lee Dixon, 21 England caps to his credit, and now 30 years of age. Off the head of Linnigan. Southampton with the throw. They did win this fixture last season by 2-0. Goals from Maddison and Dowie on that occasion, but that's the scoreline this afternoon by which they trail. And Alan Ball's shouts in the dugouts becoming increasingly desperate. Here's Maskell. That's a good effort, but David Seaman makes goalkeeping look so easy. It was at him, so it wasn't that difficult to deal with. But he's so cool, David Seaman, and if you were looking for one reason above all others, maybe, why Arsenal have only conceded 17 goals in the Premier League this season, surely it would be him. Dixon in so quickly, but he didn't keep possession. Simon Charlton, oh, wonderful shot! And when they finally get past David Seaman, they don't beat the woodwork. Charlton on the left foot finally got past David Seaman, but didn't beat the woodwork. And Arsenal were just caught offside. Ian Wright. Kenner to Dowie. They all appeal. And Southampton get the decision. Dowie. Oh, Keown was in very quickly. Moncau. Dispossessed by Wright. Limpar, whose pace has taken him away from Moncau into the penalty area. It looks as if a penalty is given. He's waving away the protests. He didn't point straight away, David Frampton. He had a good look and he thought about it. Limpar had beaten Moncau for pace around the outside, and the challenge of the big defender has been adjudged a penalty. They get very tight, they get wrapped up together, and it was that little extra push forward by Limpar, and when he tried to step in front of Moncau, down he went, and after a moment's hesitation, the penalty which Ian Wright has dispatched for a hat-trick, already claiming the ball. Arsenal 3, Ian Wright 3. It's 31 goals this season from Ian Wright, completing the hat-trick courtesy of the penalty spot, and having scored a hat-trick when he returned to the team for the last away match against Ipswich, which Arsenal won 5-1, following that up with another one at Southampton. He's reminding the crowd who were barracking him that he has scored 3, and it's reasonably good-natured. I don't think they can get into trouble for that, but as in the first half, Arsenal, with that third goal, have succeeded in quietening the crowd, and without that vocal support, which had been building up for Southampton, the match now becoming a very quiet affair indeed. Keown stealing it. And Moncau losing out to Ian Wright. Here's Smith. Well, there's a hunger about Arsenal. Wright knocks it on. Campbell's there. It's number 4. It's too easy. It's a match which is really piling the problems up for Southampton. In 18th position in the Premier League with 32 points. Wasn't a pretty goal, but Arsenal won't mind, and Kevin Campbell won't mind. He's 17th of the season with just over 5 minutes left. Alan Ball knows the size of the problem. The team finished 18th last season. They just were 1 point above relegation to survive on that occasion, and it's going to be another tight one. Came off the defender, I think. Selly. Moncau comes up from the back. We are approaching the conclusion of 90 minutes. And Smith, who plays it out. It's been a virtuoso performance from Ian Wright, the England striker, with a hat-trick, and George Graham with plenty to be happy about. His counterpart, Alan Ball, with a lot of thinking to do. He wants the ball, he's got it already, and it's tucked up under the shirt and already claimed. Final score here, Southampton 0, Arsenal 4.